I'm about to make a bold statement. In my hand, I hold one of the best knives I've ever bought. And it's not what you guys are thinking. It's going to be something special. It won an award at Blade Show 2023 in Atlanta. So let's turn this around and take a look at this amazing knife. Guys, like I said in the intro, I have been excited to see this knife for a while. And it's the Rosecraft blades, Clinch a River sway back. Let's take a look at the box. They do a really good job with their slip joint packaging, their more premium packaging they put on their slip joints. So let's get this box out of the way so we can talk about this awesome knife. So disclaimer stuff, I did not get this from Rosecraft this time. I purchased this with my own money for a couple of reasons. I wanted you guys to not have that feel that like, oh, I loved it because the knife came in for free. And two, I wanted one. This thing is a gorgeous, gorgeous shine. Now, I have been a slip joint guy for a long time. Now, I've only had this knife for a couple days, so I will tell you, my opinions on some of this stuff may change. This thing is beautifully done. Now, this was the 2023 Import Knife of the Year at Blade Show Atlanta. And a lot of times the award system at Blade Show is questionable at best. But this time, this was spot on. So what you've got here is a beautiful sway back style knife and sway back because the back is arched like this. It's a lot of times used in a grip like this, which is a very, very comfortable grip for a sway back knife. But this thing is just executed beautifully. You have a great, great D2 blade that's done in a very nice Wharncliffe. You've got a big finger choil on this where you can get in and power down. This is a slip joint, so it doesn't have a lock, but it does have that half stop right there. And the feel on this is just incredible. This is done in gray bone. And so it is a nice, nice looking material. It almost looks like a stone of some sorts, but that's natural bone. You've got this really nicely done blade on this that nests down in here. All of this has been married up beautifully. There are a handful of companies that are just doing amazing slip joints. Enrique Pena is having a bunch done. I believe Riat or we are doing his. Rosecraft is really knocking out of the park. And Jack Wolf knives. I like the Rosecraft stuff. I love the Jack Wolf knives, but I love the Rosecraft stuff because it stays really, really close to traditional. Pinned construction, and they married everything up when they did the final finish on this. Married all those pins up. You do have a small lanyard hole, which on a knife like this, not going to complain. It kind of does. A knife like this is a hard use knife, a hard work knife, and you may want a lanyard on it. I'm not going to complain. There's no real other way to do it on this knife. The handles are really nicely contoured from center line out to the edges, which means it fills your hand really well, but doesn't feel sharp at all on the edges. And a contoured, completely chamfered feel like this just feels really good in hand. No pocket clip on this, so there's no ergo issues on it to speak of. And when you get up in this grip and do some cutting, you can really just horsepower cut through stuff. And then if you're going to draw cut, cut like this, that is where this really shines. You can get it in this grip here, still really, really comfortable. Up in here, even better. You've got this big nail nick on this, which I like because the stiffness of some of these newer slip joint knives is pretty strong. And having that larger nail nick allows you to really get in there and then pull the knife open. This one is done in a satin finish, which I like. I like the fact that it's satin all over. Just a beautifully executed knife. Now, with all knife, oh, I meant to mention this. Beautiful swedge on this that gives you a little bit of thinning at the tip. Addition to the distal taper you get on this. So you have a very nice piercing tip on this, and it came ridiculous sharp. Like this is one of those knives that came out of the box and I'm like, yep, I'm not going to need to sharpen this anytime soon. A lot of knives come out of the box and they immediately get sharpened. So there are a couple. Oh, I meant to mention this. This is the first day I've had it. So you could actually take this knife and have somebody engrave your initials on this plate. I love the fact that they leave these plates open. So if you were to want to customize this, you could, and you could also engrave like somebody's name and birth date if it was a birthday gift on here. There's a lot of places that can do some engraving like that for you. So really, really cool. Now, There's just a couple small things about this that I would want to change maybe a little bit. And we'll talk about those when we turn this around. Flip side of the story, flip side of the knife. Okay, there are only a couple small things on this. One of them being something that's completely out of character for me. Um, the steel. So it's D2 steel. This is something that I've talked about before. I have a problem with D2 steel. I have a tendency to make it rust like no one can. I don't know if it's simply a chemical thing with my, with my sweat, but I will rust D2 faster than anyone I know. So a different steel, something a little bit more stainless, I would have definitely appreciated. Next thing, I honestly wish it was a little bit bigger. Like I've got a really good grip on it, but I would have liked to have seen this knife be a little bit bigger, like an XL version of this. I would love to have, because in this grip, which is the way I always am using it, which is going to lead to the next one. In this grip, the way I'm always using it, I just wish it was a little bit bigger. I would have liked to have had a little bit bigger. And then out of character for me, I wish it didn't have this forward choil. While it is nice and you can get choked up on it, you give up a little bit of blade. I would have liked to have seen like a half-inch more actual sharpened edge and then a big notch here. Not something I needed to get my finger up in, if you know what I mean. And because I use it in this grip a lot, I have noticed it's not hot, but I think if you were using this knife a lot to do a lot of cutting, these little edges right here, I think where they terminate, it's a little bit of a hard edge. I may put this on a Scotch-Brite wheel and just break those corners off and make it a little bit softer. But I think that I would have been fine without this in there, or maybe had this at an angle or something like this where your finger wasn't directly on it. Yeah, I think that just if they had just gotten rid of this choil and just brought it back and left you with a good notch here, like brought the edge all the way back to here, I would have been fine with that. But I mean, in all honesty, though, it's really hard to say anything negative about this knife. It's gorgeous. It's great in hand, and it cuts so well. I absolutely understand why it won the award it did. And in this case, I'm not even going to call into question the award that it won, because it's just incredible. I absolutely love this knife. Absolutely love it. I loved the way it looked. I wanted to buy it with my own money. I've always liked slip joints. And oh, one final thing. I would like to see them start shipping things like this with a slip like Yan Knives did. Like I talk about this all the time. Yan Knives has provided me with the best pocket slip I've ever had. And so maybe a combination of these two, like a pocket slip with a good pocket clip on it like this, not one of the ones with the little notch that's inside, like the ones that I saw on that Jack Wolf Midnight fixed EDC. Something like this would just be perfect. It would just be perfect. And then you throw a lanyard on it. I may actually put a lanyard on this. This would just be an incredible combo right there. So there you go, guys. You need to check one of the, if you're into slip joints, if you carry a slip joint regularly, this is a knife you need to try, and they're not that expensive. Like I'm pretty sure I put a link to it, a thing saying there's a link to it down below. These are under $100. These are under $70. These are so good at the price, and you can save 10% by using my coupon code crazysharp on this. So guys, that's it on this one. Is it a yup? Yeah, I think this is probably one of the best knives I've ever purchased. This is something I'm going to keep for a very long time, because they never go out of fashion. This is up there with Great Eastern cutlery kind of quality. So guys, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, send you out about your day. Guys, I cannot tell you how good this is. And I thought maybe it was the novelty. I thought maybe it was a novelty. That's why I wanted it. And the second this showed up and I got it in hand, it showed up, I took it to work with me, I carried it all day at work, it was in my pocket. I fell in love with it. It is an incredible knife. This is probably one of the best slip joint knives you're ever gonna find. And for the price, you just can't say no. I honestly, I don't make any money on the sale of any of these knives. I can give you a discount. So We'll talk about that in a second. Guys, that's it on this one. There's going to be more to follow because this thing's just incredible. It's in my pocket all the time. Sits in a watch pocket, okay? But I carry it in that slip a lot. So you know what to do. A lot of links down below. A couple of them have discounts built in. Coffee Brand Coffee, Tempered Trail. They have discounts, 10% off your order at both of those. Coffee Brand Coffee is a great, great coffee company with no politics. I have links to most of the major vendors down below. But if you're interested in saving more money, I have a discount code of crazysharp, all one word, all lowercase, that will save you 10% off this knife and all of the other Rosecraft knives. Fire & Forge Knife Works saves you 10%. And you can check out KATSU Knives with that link and save 10% there as well. Don't forget, they're making my folding knife. We'll take a look at that as soon as I get a prototype. Other than that, like I said, got all those links. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do have an Amazon store down below. Use that for all your Amazon shopping. I have a membership down below where I give away knives. I know I owe you guys a giveaway, and I owe you some exclusive content. I'll try and film that this weekend. Other than that, guys, take it easy. I love y'all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll see you in the next video.